Have you ever looked up at the stars and felt a sense of wonder? A feeling that there must be something more to this life than what we can see and touch? Throughout human history, we have searched for signs, for proof of a power greater than ourselves. We look for moments that defy explanation, moments we call miracles. These are not just tricks of light or strange coincidences. They are events that seem to touch the very fabric of our reality, bending the rules of the world as we know them. Into this world came stories of a carpenter from Nazareth. His name was Jesus. He didn't come with an army or a crown. He came with a message of love, forgiveness, hope. Our journey begins at a wedding celebration in a small town called Cana. Food, music, dancing, wine. The wine was a symbol of joy and abundance. And on this particular day, the unthinkable happened. The wine ran out. Imagine the panic of the hosts, the whispers spreading through the guests. In that moment of crisis, Jesus' mother, Mary, turned to him. She simply told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Jesus pointed to 6 large stone water jars. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. He instructed the servants to fill them to the brim with water. They must have been confused. A servant dipped a ladle into one of the jars, but what he drew out was not water, it was wine. Deep wine, rich wine, fragrant wine. The master of the banquet was astonished by its quality. Now let us travel to a remote place, a mountainside near the Sea of Galilee. A huge crowd has gathered, thousands of people. Men, women, children. They have listened all day, their hearts and minds captivated. But as the sun began to set, a practical problem arose. This was a deserted place. There were no markets, no inns, no food. The disciples grew anxious. They urged Jesus to send the people away. Jesus looked out at the vast sea of faces. He saw their hunger not just for spiritual truth, but for simple bread. Another disciple, Andrew, pointed out a young boy in the crowd. All he had was a small lunch, 5 barley loaves, 2 small fish. What was that among so many? But for Jesus, this small offering was enough. He told his disciples to have the people sit down on the green grass. Then he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He looked up to heaven, gave thanks, and broke them. The disciples moved through the seated thousands, and the baskets never emptied. Everyone ate, not just a small bite, but as much as they wanted. Night has fallen on the Sea of Galilee. After feeding the multitude, Jesus sent his disciples ahead in a boat. He went up a mountainside alone to pray. As the disciples rowed, a storm began to brew. The sea became violent waves, exhausting and terrifying them. Between 3 and 6 in the morning, they saw something impossible. A silhouette was walking toward them across the storm. It moved atop the raging waves as if on solid ground. Their first reaction was sheer terror. Then a voice cut through the wind. "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid."
Peter called out, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come."
Peter stepped out and began to walk on the water. He did the impossible, defying gravity. Peter looked at the wind and waves. Fear returned. He began to sink. Jesus reached out and caught him.
They climbed back in. The wind died. The disciples worshipped. "Truly, you are the Son of God."
The miracles of Jesus were not all grand spectacles. Many were deeply personal moments of healing. In a world with no modern medicine, the blind, deaf, and lame were cast out, forced to beg, living on the margins. They were people who had lost all hope of ever living a normal life. Consider the story of a man who had been blind from birth. His entire existence had been one of darkness. He had never seen a sunrise, a flower, the face of his own mother. Jesus said it was not because of sin, but so that God's works might be displayed. He made mud and put it on the man's eyes. He told him to wash in the pool of Siloam. The man obeyed, and for the first time in his life, he could see. This healing was more than sight restored. It was the restoration of a life. He could work, participate in his community. He healed a woman bleeding for 12 years, a man with leprosy, a boy suffering from seizures. In each case, he saw the person, not just the illness. He restored their dignity. These stories speak to our own experiences of pain and isolation. They tell us that compassion has the power to mend what is broken. They teach us that our greatest purpose is to reach out, to heal, to give hope to one another, continuing that miraculous work in our own time.